Only the pure name can inculcate Bhakti Shakti into the heart. Krishna Shakti vini nahi tada pravartana. Krishna Shakti means Krishna's Antaranga Shakti, Sarup Shakti, Bhakti Shakti. What is the purpose of our performance of Sankirtan if our Sankirtan is not meant to, let's say, spread the Bhakti cult or to increase the Bhakti energy in the atmosphere for the benefit of others? Why perform Namabhas Kirtan? Namabhas Kirtan, okay, if we're not chanting Shuddhanam, by which we can actually increase Bhakti, at least we're chanting Chaya Namabhas. We're not chanting Pratibimba Namabhas. Chaya Namabhas means that there's no, that you're not chanting Shuddhanam, but there's no intention to exploit the name either for bhukti or mukti. If you're trying to become freed from your anarthas so that you can gradually become purified, to come to a, to make yourself fit to be a recipient of the mercy of Shuddhanam, then that is also a form of Namabhas, that Chaya Namabhas, that is called the clearing stage. You're trying to clear away your anarthas and whatnot. But those who are chanting with the aim of getting, maintaining some kind of sense gratificatory status quo, whether on the plea of bodily maintenance or whatever, family maintenance, and living high on the hog, so to speak, excuse the terminology, but it's basically not much difference. Having outlandish overheads and whatnot. Brahman means living simply, simplifying as far as possible, reducing sense gratification as far as possible, living as a grihastha brahmachari. Means sadhu jivan. Can anyone other than a sadhu chant Shuddhanam to broadcast the bhakti cult, to inculcate bhakti into the hearts of the people who hear the kirtan? So if we're going to do 24-hour kirtan, first we should decide what we're doing it for. Are we doing it to increase our bhakti? Then we have to chant Shuddhanam. And if we're not chanting Shuddhanam, then we have to invite people who are chanting Shuddhanam. Not people who are chanting Aparadhanam. By Aparadhanam you can increase your bhakti, you can solve your japati problems. And maybe, it may be that if you're chanting in front of the deity of Gaurnitai or Panchatattva, that, they're not considering the offenses, but it doesn't mean that you're not chanting Aparadhanam. They're just not considering your offenses. You still get your bhakti. You don't get the reactions to offenses against the holy name. And even you may get, mukti out of the affair, means you're becoming freed from material contamination by the grace of Gaurnitai. But you're still not getting bhakti. You're still not, getting prema out of the affair. Why did we join the movement? So that we can get bhakti and mukti? Is that why we came to the Krishna conscious movement? Is that why we're performing our kirtan yagyas? So that we can get bhakti and mukti out of the affair? We increase our material piety? If that's what you get, then you get the virata roop of Nam, you don't get Nam. Virata roop of Nam is a Mayak form. Just like Krishna left his Mayak form when Jara the hunter shot him in the heel. You know that, Leela? When Krishna decided to close his Boma Leelas, he left a Mayak form to bewilder the atheist. Bhaktisiddhanta says that to the extent one disbelieves that simply by performing Sankirtan Jagya, all one's needs can be fulfilled, to that extent one is an atheist. He says to the extent of help one gives to the propagation of the holy name, Kirtan, of the holy name, that is the sole measure of one's belief in God. To the extent one obstructs Kirtan of the holy name. Now, obstruction is of different types. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're just, Chankazi coming along and breaking mridungas. It means that you're not actually you're not actually chanting the pure name. So if you're committing offenses, if we're not following the regulative principles, if we're not actually seriously interested in intimately cultivating a relationship with the name, by cultivating the proper service attitude toward the name, if we're still on the exploitative platform trying to use the kirtan, in some way to maintain our material status quo or whatever, then, that kind of chanting, will not give prema, it will not give bhakti. It may serve to solve your chapati problems, because even the offended name mercifully awards material benedictions. But what does it mean? It means repeated birth and death. Bahu Janma Kari Hari Shravana Kirtan. That is not real Shravana Kirtan. Real Shravana Kirtan can only be done by sadhus. And sadhu means that they're satam. Satam, satyam. Param satyam dhimahi. They're not, meditating on their wage packet, please. They're meditating on param satyam. And param satyam meditation means how to please Krishna. Krishnanushilanam. Practicing the principle of prema dharma. Krishnendriya priti itchadari premanam. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that in the beginning of creation, he sent forth both men and demigods along with Jagya, blessing them by saying, "Be thou happy by this sacrifice, for its performance will bestow upon you all desirable things, both for comfortable living," that means bhukti, including bhukti and mukti, liberation at the time of death, by the performance of Jagya. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you exploit the Jagya. That means akama, sarvakamava, moksha karma udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogina. By performing bhakti yoga, it means that you set aside anyabhilasita shunyam. You set aside your whatever, sarvakama, moksha kama, whatever it may be. You set these desires aside and simply perform Jagya for the satisfaction of Vishnu without any expectation of return, and see how Krishna may not put it to you like this. He may not give you the result like this, that I give X amount of energy in the Jagya and therefore I have to tangibly see some X amount of monetary return coming from the Jagya itself, that I do the Jagya, you give me the money. That's not there in the Bhagavad Gita sloka, that you do the Jagya and you get money for doing your Jagya. You do the Jagya with the expectation of getting money. He's just saying that don't worry about these things. Be freed from anxiety for gain and safety. Go beyond the modes of material nature. You know, bhakti in the mode of ignorance, bhakti in the mode of passion, bhakti in the mode of goodness. Go beyond these things. Be freed from the desire for the anxiety for gain and safety. You know, and just perform yajna for my satisfaction. And you don't have to worry. The demigods will be satisfied. Grains will come. What will your money do if there are no grains to purchase with your money? Krishna, you know, if you perform the yajna, and I've seen it practically in my own life. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking, you know, like a fool, just parroting some philosophy or something. I've seen it practically. I've been doing the yajna for the last, you know, 37 years or more. And I've seen practically how it is. Krishna doesn't have to give you, you know, your bhukti and mukti like this. He'll send you a donation like this, a third party. Doesn't have to be that, you know, I'm doing the yajna for this man, and therefore he has to give me the monetary remuneration. And if he doesn't give me any monetary remuneration, then I won't perform the yajna. Then that means selfish. It's not selfless sacrifice. By performing selfless sacrifice for the satisfaction of Vishnu exclusively. That is Kevala Bhakti. Simply by doing Kevala Bhakti, satisfying Krishna, Anyabhilasita Shunyam, Jnana Karma Anavritam, is it? You know, Anukulena Krishna Shilanam. This Anukul Bhajan, Anukul Kirtan, Anukul Bhakti, then you get far superlative result than if you know, hire a few kirtaniyas to come and do your kirtan for you. You get much more spiritual benefit by doing the kirtan yourself. Getting together with your friends and family or whatever. And simply doing kirtan for Krishna's satisfaction without any expectation of any reward. Just doing it because Krishna says, you know, that he's satisfied by that performance of yajna. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayarya Jantihi Sumerasam. He says, I'm not in Vaikuntha, I'm not in the heart of the yogis. Where am I? He's pleased to come and keep you company wherever there's two or more devotees glorifying his holy names. You know, so why think in these other terms? That, oh well, we gotta bring in a rock star, otherwise we're not gonna get, you know, the interest up in the community to come and participate in our program. You know, this group or that group. I don't want to call any names because someone might take offense. You know. We got to call him this Paisa Kanamo. You know? What's the need? You don't need them to come do your kirtan.